Now I would like to bring up Bonnie Barnes, co-founder of the Daisy Foundation, to help kick off the event. Thank you, Bonnie.
Well, thank you, Ashley. But honestly, you said everything I was going to say, and you said it beautifully. But let me, if I may, underscore what a delight it is for all of us at Daisy to get to partner with you, who are the people who really bring Daisy to life. I often say that as we travel around the country and we meet the Daisy program coordinators and our healthcare partners who really create the Daisy Award to fit the culture of their organizations. Daisy doesn't happen because, with all due respect to our team, we sit in our home offices and send you emails and stuff like that. And we create materials for you and share best practices. It really happens when you bring your creativity, your dedication, your deep understanding of the culture of your organizations, and your love for nurses and your patients, who you want to give the opportunity to say thank you to nurses. That's what makes Daisy so special. And we could not be more grateful to each and every one of you. And I hope you will share that message with everyone on your committee that touches the Daisy Award program. You may know, and Ashley, forgive me if you're going to talk about this, and then we'll be kind of even here. Daisy has grown so much over the last several years. We are now partnering with over 6,200 healthcare facilities and nursing schools in 41 countries. So you all are members of a really powerful global community of extraordinary nurses and others who work to bring meaningful recognition to this profession that is so deserving of our love, our respect, and our feedback through Daisy Award nominations. So Ashley, I hope I haven't stepped on your toes in any way.
Not at all. We definitely appreciate that. Thank you so much, Bonnie.
Turn it back over to you. Thank you.
I would now like to introduce my co-host for today, Brianne Payne. And Brianne is a program manager in clinical practice and Daisy coordinator for Duke Health System. And Duke Health System has been a part of Daisy program since 2021. Please welcome Brianne.
Hi, everyone. I am going to share my presentation with you today. As Ashley mentioned, I'm the program manager for clinical practice for Duke University Health System. I'm also the systems coordinator for Daisy across our health system. So let me share my presentation really quickly. Give me just a second, and I'm going to go into from the beginning, and let me change my display settings. All right, can you see my screen? We good to go? Okay, I'm going to keep going. Thank you for the thumbs up. All right, so as I mentioned, as Ashley mentioned, the Daisy Award became a part of Duke University Health System in 2021. We started with a pilot in a couple of our areas across the system in different entities, and then brought it on across the whole entire health system back in 2021. We honor nurses with our Daisy Award at 8 separate entities. Our honoring numbers are determined by the size of the entity. So we honor our nurses quarterly, but the number of awards that we provide is based on the size of the entity. So at one hospital, we may have 4 awards per quarter, and another hospital or another area, we may have 1. So it's just dependent upon the size of the entity. And just as an FYI, since January of 2023, we've had 2,100 nominations. So we have grown exponentially since 2021. I just wanted to provide you all with a system structure just so you would have an awareness. So I am the systems coordinator. I don't know if any of you heard, but I have our data analytics director, with us today, that if you have questions, certainly ask those questions at the end of the presentation. But I work very closely with her on managing the nominations and collecting the nominations. And I'll go through that in just a minute. So the Daisy system structure across Duke University Health System is as follows. I'm the systems coordinator, and then each one of our entities has their own Daisy coordinator. So Duke University Hospital, Duke Regional, Duke Raleigh, our Duke Health Integrated Practices, our Duke Primary Cares, Home Care and Hospice, our hospital-based clinics, and then our Duke Well program. They all have their own entity coordinator. And below that, each one have developed their own rewards and recognition committee. All licensed nurses who demonstrate extraordinary compassionate care working in any setting are eligible. So RNs, LPNs, advanced practice nurses. And our marketing materials are placed throughout the health system. So we have standing posters, hanging posters, mailer cards, flyers, paper and text QR code options. And I just shared a picture of one of our marketing materials. I also have other posters as noted here. We are currently in the process of updating our pictures to reflect that the masking versus no masking. And we have actually asked some of our past honorees to be a part of those marketing materials. So we're excited for that update in the near future. Our DAISY information is shared through word of mouth, leader rounding, after call summaries, and telehealth. And that's more with our telehealth visits that they will utilize the DAISY program in an after call summary as needed, and then digital signage as well. Our DAISY process is pretty simple. We try to keep it simple. We nominate, the nominations are submitted. They're all electronic. We do have a paper form in the instance that there's someone that says they want to do a nomination but cannot do the online, the electronic version. But for the most part, the majority of our nominations are electronic. And for those that are paper, this specific entity has a process for submitting that information electronically so that I can review it at the end of the month. We do committee reviews and then the celebration. And this gives you a little bit more of a granular view of what our processes are. I'll start at the beginning. As the system coordinator, I collect the nominations through Qualtrics Monthly, and Wendy Snyder helps me a lot with this. As the system coordinator, I review and prepare the nominations for each entity monthly, and that is time consuming in the sense that we have to make sure that we locate the correct entity to send it to. Our administrative team then emails the nominations to the local entity coordinators monthly, and then our local entity coordinators review the nominations to verify last names and locations. And we can talk about that more at the end of the presentation if you have questions about that. Our local entity coordinators blind the nominations, so take the names off and then send them to their reward and recognition committee to determine their honoree quarterly. So they've asked me to send them the information monthly so that it's not a bunch of nominations all at once. On average, we get about 250 nominations a month that we have to manage. And so based on the entity, we've got some entities that'll get 80 or 90 nominations. And rather than receiving those quarterly, they ask for them monthly so that they can go through them in real time. The local entity coordinator will schedule and host the celebrations for their honorees quarterly, and they will invite the chief nursing officer, their local leadership, and the nurses that are on the unit either for that day or in general. And then the local entity coordinators will provide the nomination certificates and pins to nominees quarterly. So anyone that's nominated gets a nomination certificate and a nominee pin. And then the honorees receive the honoree certificate, the honoree pin, and the statue. And then our local coordinators provide honoree information back to me as the systems coordinator quarterly. So after the celebrations, they provide to me the nomination, the consent form that we have them sign to say that we can share the information back to DAISY, and then more information so that I can send it to our nursing newsletter for marketing purposes as well. So we share the information about the honorees across the system on a regular basis, so quarterly. And then as the system coordinator, I submit the honoree information to DAISY, and that is done quarterly as well. I just wanted to also provide you all with some information here, and we can share these slides if this is helpful to you, but this was helpful for us. And I send this to our entity coordinators every time that I send out the nominations. Just as a reminder, we have our nomination cycle. So January 1st to March 31st is the nomination cycle. The review period, so that is the time period where the entity coordinator is reviewing the information, gathering the last name, sending to their reward and recognition committee, and determining who the honoree will be. And then we do our celebration. So it flows accordingly, and each cycle, so we have the 4 cycles, flow as you see on the screen here. So anytime during the month, they can do the celebration, but we ask that they try to stay on track with that schedule before the next celebration cycle occurs. As the system coordinator, I manage the yearly supplies. As the system coordinator, I meet monthly with our system team. We have a system team of our marketing and practice council, and we talk about our processes and determine if there's any opportunities for improvement or things that we're doing really well. We just recently updated our Qualtrics form, our electronic nomination form, to include an option for Spanish, so the person that's nominating could click the drop down and it turns into a form in Spanish. We're looking at opportunities for other languages as well. And then as the system coordinator, we meet quarterly with the entity coordinators, again, to determine where there are opportunities, things that are going well, what we can share across the system with regards to any questions that arise. And then, of course, throughout the months, as questions come up, or if there's needs, or if, let's say someone needs more nominee pins or honoree pins or something like that, then I will get that together and meet them to deliver the stuff that they need. So I think that I can answer. Do you want me to answer questions now, Ashley, or do you want to wait till the end? Now it's okay. I think there's some questions in the chat. Are there any questions in the chat, or is there anything I can answer for you all?
We just had one request to share a copy of the slides. I did let everybody know that we will be sharing a copy of the slides as well as the recording to all attendees at the end of the roundtable presentation.
Okay. Any other questions? And I can send, I can add, I'll send these slides to you, Ashley. I'll add my contact information so that if there are questions, they can follow up with me individually.
I have a question.
Okay.
This is Bonnie. Given that you are using Qualtrics for your nominations, we have seen a dashboard that was created for a multi-site system like yours in New York City, actually, where they were able to take their Qualtrics nominations and put them into this dashboard that revealed by unit how many nominations they were getting, by month, by all kinds of things. Is that of any interest to you? I don't know if you're doing anything to take a really clear look at who your nominees and honorees are.
So we do, actually, I will have Wendy chime in if she's interested in or has anything to add, but we do have a shared drive that we use that provides us, and Wendy provides me every month with the number of nominations that we have per entity. It's not as granular as per unit, but it is down to, Duke University Hospital had this many, Duke Regional Hospital had this many nominations, so that we can see over time, whether or not there's an opportunity for improving our marketing or improving our discussions with the entity leaders to say, what can we do to assist you in increasing our nominations. There are definitely some challenges with regards to those areas that are only via telephone or case management. Those present challenges to us, but they have certainly seen an increase in their nominations over the last couple of years.
Well, if you have any interest in seeing how this dashboard works, they were very willing to share the technology that they've built through using Qualtrics nominations.
Wendy's saying yes, so we are interested.
Impressive. Ashley, let's take a note of that, and I'll introduce you to Will at NYU Langone.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. I will share with you all too, and I'm sure that you all will, for those of you who do have DAISY at your organization, we have challenges with noting nurses' last names, and that's something that we have been challenged with from the beginning, and we do not go in our patient charts, so I want to be clear about that. We do our very best to make sure that the right nurse is honored or nominated based on the information that is provided by the patient. We have changed or tweaked our Qualtrics form to request that they put a last name, just using words that work, as well as are asking for as much detail as possible with regards to their nomination. Wendy, do you want to add anything? Am I forgetting anything?
No, I think I think you covered it. I would be really interested in seeing that dashboard,
No,
personally.
we'd love to show it to you.
It looks like Rebecca may have her hand up.
Yes, thank you. This is Rebecca with Daisy. I'm monitoring the chat. I just wanted to ask a question here from Tracy. How do you communicate out to your winners, or communicate out your winners to your teammates?
Like, how do you promote the winners and how do you advertise that out? Yeah.
So we have a nursing newsletter that goes out across the system. I'm hoping I'm answering your question correctly, but we have a nursing newsletter that goes out regularly. Once the honoree cycle is over, I collect those names. I keep a spreadsheet in our shared drive that provides myself with the information. I also keep the pictures of the celebration so that we can share that information in the nursing newsletter that goes out across the system.
That's very helpful. Thank you. So it just goes out to nursing because one of the things I'm working on is getting it out even broader than nursing, I mean, because I think it's a big deal and advertising it to our whole organization is just very hard to keep up on the cadence since we do one a month. So good feedback.
Yeah, we do quarterly, and we have several celebrations, and each entity also has their own way to share the information about their entity specific honorees. So from a system level, we do the nursing newsletter, but at the local entity levels, they have other ways of sharing that information. I think there may be, yes. So we also go straight with like the entity coordinators. Once I send information over, if the last name is needed, or the location, we will do our very best to drill down as far as we can get without going into the chart, and have the entity coordinators speak with the managers, the directors, to try to locate the correct nurse based on staffing days and things like that, looking at schedules. So those areas that have more nominations, it's a little more challenging, but they make it work. Kimberly, is there a question?
Just wanted to point out, Atrium also recognizes ours in our annual news nursing report annually. And then we also do, with the pictures that we take at our recognitions, we also make posters that have part of the nomination story on it. And then they're also hung up on the units, or if they're like a virtual teammate, we put them down by our cafeteria and we rotate them out periodically.
Great. Thank you for sharing that.
I had one more quick question. Do your nominees receive a copy of like their nomination story? Because like we have a template, like a pretty template that we currently copy and paste the story on, which is super labor intensive, and you get 150 nominations a month. But just wondering what other people do to recognize those nominees.
We will blind the nomination from the standpoint of patient information. But if there is a request to share, they can share as long as the patient information is not in there. Specific patient information like names and things like that.
Same. Hi, it's Dawn from Matthews Novant. We do the same. We'll make a copy of the nomination and we read it when we present the nomination, and then we give them a copy with their certificate, because a lot of them always ask what did it say, so we always give that copy. They enjoy that.
All right. If there are no other questions, I would like to introduce Sherry Brown. Sherry is the Perinatal Services Manager and Daisy Coordinator for UNC Rex Healthcare. Sherry's going to share information about presenting and celebrating Daisy honorees at UNC Rex. Sherry?
Thank you very much. I am going to share my screen. Mm. Okay, are you all able to see my slides? Wonderful, wonderful. So this is probably the most rewarding and exciting part of the Daisy Award, and it's just really truly honoring our staff. And so we're going to go on a little journey because it is definitely time to celebrate. So at UNC Rex Health, we award 3 daisies a month. And so we take the top 20 nominations that are selected from among approximately 70 to 100 nominations that are submitted monthly. And of course, we have electronic submissions, but as you can see, we actually have paper submissions as well. And so this is an example of what one of our daisy boxes looks like on the unit. And we have these on every inpatient unit in the hospital. And so again, out of the 20 nominations that are selected among the 70 to 100 that we may receive monthly, 3 winners are selected. And our other nominees are also acknowledged. And so very much similar to what a lot of you ladies already mentioned, everyone who is nominated but they don't win, we do put the copy of the original daisy in the interdepartmental mail along with the daisy pin, and we address those directly to their managers, and their managers give them the envelopes with the nomination and the pin. So that's how we are able to distribute all of that in a timely manner. And so I wanted to take a moment to say as well that this is just an example of some of our marketing materials, and our managers who are actually in the clinics, they have access to our paper nominations forms as well as our electronic submission process that they share with our patients as well as staff. And so if the nominations are paper in our outpatient clinics, the nurse managers or either one of the team leaders in that area, they are really good about scanning that paper form, and they will send that to me directly via my personal work email address. I also have another mailbox that I am responsible for monitoring, and this is a daisy mailbox that was created by the hospital that's mapped directly to me. And so I monitor this mailbox on a monthly basis. And when I do actually award a daisy award out in our outpatient clinics or even our off-site areas, I personally drive out there to do that. So I am very busy. And so whether it be our new cancer hospital that was just built across the street or a clinic maybe 20 minutes away from the hospital, and even our newest hospital in Holly Springs, which is 30 minutes away from the hospital, I drive out and I coordinate with that staff, and I am the one who actually awards that award. And so this is just an example of what our internet site looks like. And so you can nominate your nurse just by going to this site if you don't want to use your paper nomination form. And this will either link you directly to our DAISY form that we use, compliments of the DAISY Foundation. And again, that QR code that's on the paper copy. We just have options. And so as we lead up to the celebration, it really begins with a simple spreadsheet that I created. And so I partner with my director's administrative associate to begin planning the award ceremony. And these are just the things that she helps me collect information on, and it just is really helpful and beneficial. So we obtain the correct name, because that's very important for not only the website but the certificate. We identify exactly where I am to show up for the ceremony. I identify the manager of that unit so that I can have a point of contact. We also identify the director of that particular service line so we can send them an invitation to the award ceremony. I obtained the winner's professional credentials for the certificate. I also coordinate collaboratively, or rather Michelle actually does a lot of this legwork for me, which is very, very helpful for me since I am a manager and I manage a pretty busy area. But she basically coordinates the time that's suitable for the winner, for myself, the nurse manager, and the service line director, as well as our chief nursing officer. I make arrangements with our gift shop to make sure that a basket of fresh daisies are prepared for each award ceremony, and I personally pick those up. I also personally pick up the cinnamon rolls for the award ceremony. And again, Michelle, who is my director's administrative associate, she uses another very simple template that I created. And what she does is she will retype the Daisy nomination in this template for me. And this is helpful because we kind of work through some of the grammatical maybe errors or some punctuation or maybe some misspellings, only because it helps me to read through that nomination a bit smoothly, because I don't want to take away any of the love or the passion that's in the nomination. So we really try to tweak it only so it will flow, but not change the meaning or the wording that was submitted by the submitter. And lastly, I also have on this spreadsheet the type of pictures that I would like to be captured, because normally there's a staff member who's willing to help me snap photos, or I will take the photos myself. But I am very particular about the headshots that I want to put on the Daisy Foundation website, because I just think a particular pose with a particular thing looks really nice. So I make sure that I capture the necessary photos. And then I just have a reminder on this spreadsheet to go back and register the nominees. And so I do take responsibility for doing that. So I find this spreadsheet very helpful. It's a very good communication mechanism between Michelle and I. And so again, it's nothing fancy, but this is just an example of the template. And so she really copies and pastes everything into this template for me so that I may read it during the ceremony. I also use this template to copy and paste the information from here into the Daisy website. And so again, she coordinates the invitations. And so after we nail down the date and the time, she sends this invitation out electronically to myself, the nurse manager, the director, the chief nursing officer, the guild member, and even sometimes the patient and family who submitted the nomination. Anytime that we can have a family member or a patient come celebrate with us, it makes that celebration that much more meaningful. And so I wanted just to expound a moment, if I can, and tell you about our guild and who these members actually are. So the guild is a small group of civic-minded and spirited women who help to support the mission of UNC Rex Healthcare through their volunteerism and their forward thinking. They were founded in 1936, and the guild began as a very small group of physicians' wives, but since have grown into over 1,200 dedicated volunteers who provide funds and supplies to our hospital. These funds are used to purchase medical equipment. They provide financial assistance for indigent patients, and they also provide pastoral and palliative care and much more. And the reason why I just feel like I need to give the guild a shout out is because they're the reason why we have these fresh baskets of flowers. So they provide the funds, and they partner with the local florist in our area. And so this is why we're able to do that. And we just think it's really special, and we're grateful. And so we also spoke about tracking and the mechanism for tracking your banners and tracking who has been awarded a Daisy during the year. And so this is my very pretty Daisy spreadsheet. I'm sort of a spreadsheet girl. So this is another spreadsheet that I have that I use to track my banners, and I use to track my winners. And so days before I go out to do my next set of 3 award ceremonies, I look at this spreadsheet really quickly and I go collect my banners and I have them queued in my office for when I'm ready to dispatch to each unit. And so I wanted just to also mention very briefly what continual celebration looks like here at Rex. And so we have T-shirt Friday, and I think a lot of organizations have chosen a day during the week where staff can wear an approved T-shirt. And so Friday happens to be our day. My chief nursing officer thought it very important to acknowledge our Daisy winners by having our marketing department design a T-shirt especially for them. And so this is what continual celebration looks like for us. And anytime you see one of these Black T-shirts, you just get excited, and the nursing staff, they're so proud to wear these T-shirts. And so very happy. And so now it's award time. So this is what it looks like here for me at Rex. So I queue up my happy yellow little cart. The manager who was in my role prior to me, she actually, well, two managers prior to me, Robin Deal, she actually brought Daisy to our organization, and she has retired, but she is a very crafty, sweet lady. And so she has made me several of these Daisy wreaths. And so I have put one of her wreaths on front of our Daisy cart. And so I put all my things on it. And as you can see, in the top picture, I have my script. So I stick very closely to my script directly from the Daisy Foundation, only because it's meaningful and I don't want anything to be lost in translation. I have had the honor of presenting enough awards to where I have almost committed it to memory, but I do stick to the script. And so I load it with my cinnamon rolls, my bouquet of flowers, my daisy pin, my statue, my actual certificate, my T-shirt. And I love the reaction that I get when I walk down the hall. People are excited. They're stopping me in the hallway, asking me, where am I going? Who's won the award? They tell me how
Amazon.
Hi, Sherry, you are on mute.
I'm sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, thank you so much. No problem.
Oh, I don't know what was the last thing you heard me say, Ashley. I don't know when I actually was muted.
Just recently, it wasn't.
Okay. So I think the last where I had left off is that I just really love this day when I'm walking down the halls with on the cart, because people are constantly stopping me and they're asking me who's won the award, and the visitors are saying how the cart makes them happy. It's an opportunity for me to talk about Patrick and his parents and how we even got to this place. A lot of people in some of the ancillary departments, they don't really know what Daisy is. And so it's just an opportunity for me to really celebrate this program, to celebrate the nurses, and really just to bring joy, because the cart alone just makes people happy. And so I thought I would just take a moment, if I may, to just go down the 2023 UNC Health Rex Daisy Hall of Fame. So these are just some photos that I captured of some of our award winners, and I just wanted to share these with you. So here, if you notice the picture at the top, these beautiful ladies, one in yellow, one in green, these are two members of our guild. And so they love to come and participate as often as they may. And here's another one of our marketing materials, but it's also the Daisy banner that we actually put in the units of each winner. And so that banner does stay on the unit for a month. And as you can see, we have our QR code there, and staff really enjoy that. And so I just wanted to give a very, very special thanks to Michelle Bayholtz. And again, this is my director's administrative associate. And without her, I don't think any of this really would be possible. I know before she was assigned to help me with this program, it was a very daunting process, a lot to process, but she has made things so much better. And I just really enjoy working with her. So I am forever indebted to her. And I feel like everybody needs a Michelle. And that is it. Any
Thank you,
questions
Sherry.
for me?
That was a wonderful presentation. Can you please tell me how you engage your CNO with your presentations?
Yes, so absolutely. So it's interesting because since I have been in my role for 2 years as Daisy coordinator, and when I first assumed my role, our CNO at the time actually presented the Daisy himself, and I was his partner, and I just made sure that everything was here. And I actually, as he flowed through the award ceremony, I kind of watched him and intuitively kind of felt him out and knew exactly what to hand him and when to hand it to him. So we were a very well-oiled machine in that way. And my current CNO, she really has encouraged me, I think, to be a little more out front, which is it's an honor because she has given me nothing but compliments as far as, how she thinks that I bring so much love and compassion to the award ceremony. And so I'm honored. And so I'm more now of the front runner, and she's more, and when she's invited, will share words of thanks and gratitude, but she allows me to do more of the presentation. And so it's really as we invite her to every ceremony, and she's very busy, she comes and participates in the ones that she's able to attend. But even in her absence, she has empowered me and she entrusts me to do a job well done. So I honor that as well. I hope that answered your question.
That does. That's wonderful. And I just want to echo a few of the comments in here where everybody loves your cart. It's beautiful. The yellow is cheerful and it brings, it really can bring joy. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Are there any other questions for sharing? No? Okay. All right, we'll go back to the presentation. The next portion of our meeting is our breakout rooms, and we'll have 3 rooms for you to choose from. The new and first year programs, the existing programs, 1 to 6 awards per year would be the smaller facilities, and then the existing program 7+ awards per year will be the larger facilities. Please choose which best fits your